Tonight, we have the dates and times for the 2025 WRL Draft Order shows. We also have some new art for you for the Draft Order shows. And we have a Week 15 APBL updates for you. All of this and more in 30 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. I know the intro was a little bit different tonight, so I get on StreamYard for the first time in a couple of weeks because we haven't done a broadcast in a little bit, and I go to click on all of my things to get ready for the show, and I click on our normal intro video, and it won't play. I've been saying for a couple of years now that we've been using StreamYard, I always thought it was very odd that it wouldn't let me add graphics or logos to the screen without paying for an upgraded version of it, but it would let me do videos all day. Well, it looks like they finally caught on, and it won't let me do any videos except for the free one that is already there, which is what you saw just a few seconds ago. So before we get ready to do the draft order shows this weekend, I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that or get an upgraded version of it. That way we can have our normal, the recast intro that we normally have for each one of these shows. So I apologize if it was a little weird for everybody who's used to seeing that regular intro. I see 8 people on there with us. Let me know if you're out there. Erica, the first one to say hello. How are you? All right, so quick show for you all tonight. We said at the top of the show that this weekend is the 2025 WRL Draft Order shows. Hanley out there as well. Hanley's been on with me for a little bit here, about 20 minutes before we went live, just BSing about APBL stuff. Miss Clander out there as well. Sherry, how are you? I'm glad you made it. I appreciate you. So this weekend will be the 2025 WRL Draft Order shows. We're going to do 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, hopefully with the correct intro. A True Crime Junkie, I think I know who that is. Eric out there with us as well. Gerard asking, what's up, Mango Harbonaro? Man, I'm telling you, my earlobes were sweating. That stuff was so hot. So in case you all don't know, Gerard came over earlier today. Pretty awesome of him. He was able to get a chance to go to the home run derby out in Atlanta on Monday night. And Erica said the same thing. And he brought me over some gifts. So Gerard, very appreciative, man. I got a hat from the All-Star game. I got a hat from a New York Yankees AAA team up in Pennsylvania that he got to see a while back, and he bought me a hat while he was there. Brought me some Series 2 2025 Topps cards because Topps had a thing there. And then I had been wanting to try this recipe that I've been thinking about in my head for a while. And it was basically the same stuff that you get in a Domino's chicken habanero, if I'm saying that, habanero sandwich. So it was grilled chicken, but with that grilled chicken, I marinated in lime juice, honey, chili pepper, and garlic pepper, put it on the grill, chopped it all up, and then in a skillet, ended up cooking what would normally be like fajita vegetables, which were 2 different types of peppers and onions. Added to that a fresh chopped up 2 jalapenos, and then pineapple, black olives. And then on top of that, put what was supposed to be sweet mango habanero sauce, but it wasn't so sweet. It was more hot. Put it all together, and then I also cooked up some tortellini. Tortellini was supposed to make it a little bit more filling. I don't really know that it was needed, but all I know is I think Gerard ended up having a couple of bites of it. I finished it, but I also haven't taken my heartburn medicine for a couple of days. I am on fire right now. I'm going to be hurting tonight. There's been no good sleep in my home tonight. That's for sure. All right. So we said 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday. But before we get to that, I wanted to actually show everybody's something new that will be on the show this year. So some of you know that I have been working on automating a lot of the stuff that we do through FSA and the FSA website. Mostly recently over the last 2 or 3 weeks been graphic building type stuff to be able to try to get me away from having to do box out sports, which we've kind of used over the last couple of years. Box out sports cost money. Was trying to be able to get something that didn't cost so much money. I see people out there. Gerard said, sweating like Shaq at the free throw line. No doubt. Sean says, yikes. Sean, I'm glad I got to see you coming through town. For those of you that are not on Discord with us, Sean ended up winning what we called, which was kind of like a secondary tournament for us in 2023, which we called the Grey Cup. Sean ended up winning that Grey Cup. We said that was going to be a custom t-shirt. We commissioned Eric Poole, great artist that's done other things for us before, to create the art that was going to go on that shirt. And because I was coming back from Ohio, instead of going to Knoxville and hitting 40 and coming around through the Carolinas, I decided to go straight down 75, hit Atlanta, see if I could stop it and see Sean, which I did. Gave him the shirt. Got a photo opportunity with him. So I was glad I was able to finally give that to you in person. Sorry it was so late, but better late than never, I guess. And Jess out there with us as well, laughing at me. Not very funny, Jess. Thanks. I appreciate you, though. The heartburn is for real right now. So those of you who know that I've been working on this website and trying to automate as much stuff knows that whenever I started doing these graphics that I'm continually working over the last couple of weeks, the first 2 graphics that I created took me about 9 hours to program to get the database and the PHP pages and AI that helped me do it all to create it. It was like 9 hours stretched over 3 days. But what that did was save me a crap ton of time. So if I had done this art one piece at a time like I should have done or have been doing over the last couple of years, it would have taken me about 111 hours to do it. Now I can literally do this stuff at a click of a button. So with that, I've been trying to figure out anything and everything that I can do to automate processes as we go through the 2025 and 2026 seasons. The latest, the greatest thing that I decided to work on was how can I get these background images that I use for the draft order show each year to be automated? Because what happens is every year we get like a new region, or we recycle a region from a couple years ago, and I have to go into Photoshop and I have to change so many pieces. There's a lot of color changes to it. There's a lot of font changes. So logo changes, a lot of stuff that has to go into it. And I could probably, for the 4 that we did this year, probably be able to do it in 2 hours on the fastest side, 5 hours on the slowest side. So I took myself a couple of hours to put this together. And now I have it set up not just for this year, but for future years, where I can literally go to 2 different drop downs. I tell it what region I want, and I tell it what year I want it for, and it creates the image for me. So what I want to do is I want to show you what the previous seasons looked like. So this is an old one from 2024. This is the Cerberus region. The reason I want to show you this one is because this was a duplicate region from last year going into the 2025 season. And I wanted to show you what we were able to create with a PHP and some database interaction. So 2024, and here's what it looks like for 2025. Not much different, some upgrades to it. But the best part about it is I no longer have to go into Photoshop, and I no longer have to click and change colors anymore. I literally just go into my new database program that I built and tell it region, year, and it builds this. So to give you a little sneak preview of what the rest of them look like before we get to the draft order shows on Saturday and Sunday, there's the Cerberus region. Cerberus are going to be on Sunday. We'll get more to the schedule here in a little bit. Loch Ness will be on Saturday. The Red Dragons will be on Saturday. And then the Krakens, which will end up being the final one, will be on Sunday. So here is the actual order. I will leave this on the screen for a little bit. Take a picture of it with your cell phones. Take a snapshot of it with a snippet right now if you want. Go back and watch this show again. Here is the schedule for Saturday and Sunday. So first out the chute will be the Loch Ness region. They are going to be on Saturday at 1 p.m. East Coast time. These times that you see on Saturday and Sunday, we're trying to kind of stick to the traditional NFL time slots for games of 1 and 4. So Loch Ness on Saturday, 1 p.m. Red Dragons will follow them on Saturday at 4 p.m. East Coast time. And then on Sunday, we're going to start with the Cerberus region at 1 p.m. And then we will finish up with the Krakens region on Sunday, 4 p.m. So nothing necessarily that you have to do. You don't even have to be there to watch this. You can come back and watch a replay of it later. You can see the screenshot of what the final draft order show or the draft order looks like when we post it on Discord. I just realized I still had the headphones on, but that's because we got to get Hanley in here in a second. Yeah, so there is your schedule. I will publish it again in Discord after the show's over. That same image you just saw with the clipboard, I'll put it over there in the WRL channel so everybody knows. But again, Saturday, Loch Ness and Red Dragons, and then Sunday, Cerberus and the Krakens. Let's see if I've got anything else here on the script that I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, after we get done with the draft order shows, it'll be game on and try to figure out when we're actually going to do the draft. So start thinking about when you're not available for the draft. So the draft schedule, you know how we normally do it, is somewhere between the NFL Hall of Fame game and then, I'm going to hit it, Hanley. I'm glad you put it out there. Once I talk about the APBL in a second, I'm going to put that out there as well. I'm glad you said it again, though. So usually we do our drafts anywhere between the NFL Hall of Fame game and then opening night of the NFL. So for us this year, that's the 31st of July is the NFL's Hall of Fame game. Season opens on 4 September. So in between there, so pretty much the entire month of August. I know we want to kind of try to push that as close to the 4 September date as we can because of preseason games and injuries that could happen and all that stuff. But again, start looking at your calendars, find out when you can't do a draft, and then post those dates, or if it's just specific times on a certain date inside your Discord channel on Discord. So yeah, that pretty much takes care of everything WRL. We definitely have some APBL news, as Haley just put out in the background there, that we want to talk about. And then we have one little thing about the APFL that we want to talk about. So this was the All-Star week for the MLB. So that makes it a non-traditional week for the APBL. What that means is instead of just a regular week from Monday through Sunday, this weekend, I'm going to pull Hanley in now because we're talking about baseball. So let's get you on here. Hey, brother, how are you?
What's going on?
I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. It was only like 13 minutes and 7 seconds ago. So non-traditional week for us. So instead of a regular week where it goes Monday through Sunday, this one started on the 7th of July and will run all the way till this Sunday, which is the 20th of July. And then there was a break in the games on the 13th through Thursday because games will pick back up again on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we have 3 more games this week for us. And since our 7th inning stretch broadcast usually does not include games that have already started or have played on Friday when we do that broadcast, I figure I'll save myself the day on Friday and just do that information right now. So what I want to do is give everybody an update of where we are score-wise, rolling into and out of the All-Star game from last night, which was a great game. Did you get a chance to watch it at all?
Yeah.
It was a great game. I love that it ended up tying. I love how they did the kind of like mini home run derby at the end of it to break the tie. That turned out to be really good. So here are the scores. So as you can see up there, week 15 scoreboard, non-traditional week, really long week for us. The Rangers and the Red Sox are having a shootout right now. Rangers up on the Red Sox only by 2 points, 311 to 309. A couple of the games of interest in there. Orioles up on the Yankees right now, 265 to 256. Surprising there. No surprise right now with the way you've been rolling pretty good. Your Detroit Tigers up on the Blue Jays, 286 to 217 right now. And then just one more game to kind of highlight the Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox. The last time those two met, which I think was week 5, they ended up tying. If you look at their records there right in the middle of the screen, Cubs 7-6-1, White Sox 2-11-1. They tied against each other. which is a pretty rare thing to happen in the APBL to have ties. We had one in the playoffs last year, which was pretty wild. And when I mentioned that we were having a rematch of those two teams this week, if you went out on Yahoo at that moment when I mentioned it, and it looked like it kind of gave the projected scores for the two teams, it did have them being tied again this week, but you can see it's like almost 100-point difference right now with the Cubs up over the White Sox. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I think the Cubs should feel pretty good about where they're at right now with a 99-point lead. So something you said, I know you're on screen right now, but I'm going to pull it up anyways because you did bring it up, the APBL playoffs. So something I wanted to mention for about the last 2 weeks, and we've kind of been off canter when we've been doing our broadcasts and stuff like that. And I want to make sure everybody in the APBL understands this because this is how it was last year. But Yahoo has a funny way of showing the playoff brackets. It doesn't really care what league you're in because we've got our APBL broken up in the National League and the American League. It doesn't really care about that. It's just going to take the top 6 teams regardless of what league you're in. So the playoffs are intended for the APBL for it to be the top 3 teams from each one of the leagues. So the top 3 teams from the AL, the top 3 teams from the NL will go to the playoffs. The number 1 team on each side will get a first-round bye. What's crazy about that, and you and I were talking about it before we went live, is where you are in rankings in your league. You're second on the AL side, but where would you be if you were playing in the NL right now?
I would be dead last.
Isn't that wild? So it's a good thing you're on the AL side right now. So for those of you that are watching this that are on the NL side, if you're in 4th place, you ain't making the playoffs. So what I'll do is now that we're coming out of the All-Star break, probably every week after this, when we do the 7th inning stretch, I will probably do like a playoff watch slide and add that to it so everybody knows what's going on, to kind of reiterate again that, hey, it's not the top 6 across the league. It's the top 3 in each one of the individual AL, NL leagues. So I wanted everybody who might be APBL players out there that are watching this to understand that.
It's
and to know
confusing in the way that Yahoo shows the rankings next to everybody's teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not one of those things that I like, but we are stuck with what we've got for right now. Like you said before we went live, if we can figure out the API calls and Fantrax has the ability for us to do it, it would be nice for us to be able to shift over to that, even if it does cost a little bit of money, because the being able to backtrack with the API calls from their website to iPlayFSA will be very, very nice because it'll be less work for me.
Especially if we can do everything through the website like you're trying to do on the football side.
Exactly. And we won't be able to do that unless we're able to do API calls. So if Fantrax allows us to do it, cost or no cost, I'll shift that way. $100 for an entire baseball season is kind of small and minuscule, especially if it gives me back all of those hours that I'm going to save by not having to do a whole bunch of stuff. So NL clearly has a say for the can't manually override. So if you're talking about the Yahoo thing for the playoffs, yes, I can. But then I got to go in every single week and update it. So what I'm going to do is I think the way we did it last year, especially because we had to deal with a tie last year, if you remember, G, I will go in and I will set up the playoff brackets before we go into the playoffs so everybody will know. So we've got week 15, finishes up week 15. So we have 16 through 22 of the regular season still to go. And then 23, 24, 25 for the playoffs. So we'll make sure we set it up. Gratz is out there. Damien, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man. Just up in Ohio, came back. Next time I'm up there, which could be a while before I go up, we definitely got to get everybody back together. You, me, Jason, Matt, and a couple other guys to get together so we can just hang out when I'm up there next time.
Depending on where you're at in Ohio, I might even make the trek down.
So you know what? That's a very good idea. Most of these guys that I'm talking about are in the Columbus area. Even Jason, my best friend's kind of in Springfield, which is close to Columbus. I don't think it would be that hard for me to convince them to go up a little bit further. How far would you be from Toledo or Bowling Green?
I'm an hour out of Toledo.
Okay, that'd be awesome. So what we might end up doing is, Damien, how far would you be from Bowling Green? I forget how far north you are in the state. How far is Bowling Green away from you? Because what we might end up doing is just using old BGSU. I know I can convince Jason at any time to go up there because that's our alma mater. We'll just go up there and everybody get together.
Because Columbus is like 3 hours from me.
Yeah, we don't want to go that far. Because if I was to do anything, I think that's where we all met up, me and Damien and Jason last time. I think we met at Dave and Buster's in Columbus. We don't want you to go that far. And I have zero problems going up to Bowling Green because Bowling Green is where FSA got its start. Our very first year, even though it wasn't a successful season in 93, we actually held our first draft in the dorms that are there on campus. So, yeah, we might have to do that.
Yeah, because Bowling Green, I just put that in here. Bowling Green's about an hour and a half from me.
Yeah, so it's a little bit further south than Toledo is. So, yeah, we might have to do that next time I'm up there. All right, so one more.
As long as it's on a weekend.
That's true. All right, one more piece of information league-wise before we get off of here. APFL news. We put this out on the last broadcast. I think it's been a week or two since we've done one, but I wanted to make sure it stays with everybody's mind. Damien's out there. Gerard's out there. Hanley's with us, so you guys remember this. APFL roster cut day. So the NFL will cut their rosters down to 53 on Tuesday, August 26th. Probably sometime in the next couple of days, get through the weekend of the draft order shows. Maybe on Monday, I'll start putting together a schedule of August through start of the season, right? So August 26th, Tuesday, that is when the NFL cuts their rosters from down to 53. Last year, I think, was maybe one of the first years in a while, or the first year ever, that they actually did all of the roster cuts in one day instead of doing them systematically over a couple of weeks. So we did the same thing for the first time, because the first year that we did this, we still did the systematic cutting of players at the end of each preseason week. Last year, we did them all at once. We're going to do them all at once again this year. So again, Tuesday, 26 August, NFL cuts down to 53. We will use the next day on Wednesday, the 27th, to cut our APFL rosters down to 18. And you have to get them cut by 8:30 that night. So I would like to have everybody have their rosters cut. We'll do a broadcast on the 27th of August, and that will probably be one of the big topics, is roster cuts and what everybody cut for the to get themselves down to 18. So it aligns perfectly with a broadcast. We might as well go ahead and do one. So that's it. Apologize for the crazy intro by not having our normal song. Hopefully we'll figure that out by Saturday. My only hiccup or halt or caution right now is, I think the last time I used StreamYard and paid for it, it was like $20 a month. I think they bumped it up to like $35 a month right now. So might be finding another way to do these broadcasts here very shortly, but we'll figure it out. But that is it. I wanted to make sure that we thank all of our sponsors, even though we were unable to get the recast to get their music up tonight. They are the official music of the FSA. And thank you to Sport Management Solutions, our title sponsor of the FSA. If you liked tonight's show, make sure you go out, like, share, subscribe, follow us on all of our social media outlets. We kind of took a little bit of a break away from Twitter, but we are trying to do better by being on Twitter/X. After we left it and came back on, I think we have a total of 9 followers right now. I would like to see that get increased by a little bit. So if you're not already following us on Twitter, please go out and do that. And then also spread the word to your friends, so we can try to get that number up a little bit. We're sitting around like 500 and something on Instagram, 500 and something on Facebook, TikTok, because we haven't really done a whole lot with the FSA on it, and mostly AI art. I think that thing's up like 8,900 now. And then if you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, make sure you do that as well. We appreciate you. Hanley, I'm going to pull your face up one more time because you're handsome. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for being on here with me tonight. Everybody hit me up on Discord if you want. Call it a night. We'll see you on Saturday at 1 p.m. Remember, we are Fanatically Real. You all have a great rest of your Wednesday evening.